Hey, what's up everyone? This is Abe Ulanders of Yugatech, and in this video, we will be sharing with you the top smartphones you may want to consider if you have a budget of just under 15,000 pesos. Take note though that this list only includes smartphones that have been announced and released for the first quarter of 2022. That's between January to March of this year. We also did a similar list for smartphones under 10,000, and you can watch that in our channel. Okay, let's go ahead and give you the rundown. Released this March, this 6.56-inch smartphone runs on a Snapdragon 680 chipset with an Adreno 610 GPU. It has 6GB of RAM with up to 5GB of additional memory extension and 128GB of internal storage expandable via the micro SD card slot. The dual SIM supports 4G LTE. It only has a dual rear camera with a 13-megapixel main and another 8-megapixel front-facing camera. The OPPO A76 runs on Android 11 with ColorOS 11.1 and packs a 5000 mAh battery with a 33-watt fast charging capability. The OPPO A76 retails for 11,999 pesos. The next one is also released last month with the same Snapdragon 680 chipset and Adreno 610 GPU with a bigger display of 6.78-inch and a 90Hz IPS panel. It comes with 8GB of RAM paired with 128GB of internal storage expandable via the micro SD slot. Flipping onto its back, it boasts of a quad camera setup with a 108-megapixel main sensor, 8-megapixel ultra-wide, 2-megapixel macro, and 2-megapixel depth sensor. Going back to the front, we have a dot-notch housing for the 16-megapixel selfie shooter. The Huawei Nova 9 SE runs on EMUI 12 on top of Android 11 and is juiced up by a 4000 mAh battery with 66-watt fast charging via USB Type-C. The Nova 9 SE is priced at 13,999 pesos. Again, with a Snapdragon 680 chip, the Vivo Y21T sports a 6.51-inch LCD panel with 4GB RAM plus 2GB memory extension and 128GB of internal storage expandable via the micro SD card. It has a triple 50-megapixel rear cameras and an 8-megapixel front selfie shooter. The Vivo Y21T runs on FunTouch OS 12 based on Android 11, having a 5000 mAh battery with an 18-watt charging rate. The Vivo Y21T is available for only 10,999 pesos. Fourth on this list is a 5G-capable chip, the Dimensity 900 with a Mali G68 MC4 GPU. Released in February, it sports a 6.95-inch IPS panel with up to 120Hz refresh rate, configured with 8GB of RAM and 128GB of internal storage expandable via the micro SD card. It has a 50-megapixel main triple rear camera setup and a 12-megapixel front camera housed in a dot notch. The Tecno POVA 5G runs on HiOS based on Android 11 with a whopping 6000 mAh battery but with an underwhelming 18-watt charging via the USB Type-C. The Tecno POVA 5G starts at 12,990 pesos. This next one in our list is a gaming processor under the hood, which is the Helio G95 with a Mali G70 MC4 GPU, 8GB of RAM, and 256GB of expandable storage via the micro SD card. This updated version of the Infinix Note 10 Pro sports a 6.95-inch IPS display with a refresh rate of 90Hz. We have a 64-megapixel main quad rear camera and a 16-megapixel front camera. The Infinix Note 10 Pro 2022 runs on XOS 7.6 on top of Android 11 and is powered by a 5000 mAh battery with a 33-watt fast charging capability. The Infinix Note 10 Pro 2022 is priced at only 11,990 pesos. Another one from Infinix is the Zero 5G, which is equipped with the Dimensity 900 and a Mali G68 MC4 GPU. The device sports a 6.78-inch IPS panel, interestingly with up to 120Hz refresh rate, 8GB of RAM, and 128GB of expandable storage via the microSD slot. It has a triple rear camera setup with a 48 megapixel main sensor, plus a 13 megapixel telephoto and a 16 megapixel selfie camera. The Infinix Zero 5G runs on XOS 10, overlaid on Android 11 with a 5000 mAh battery and a 33-watt fast charging capability. It is priced at only 11,990 pesos. Up next is a phone from Xiaomi sub-brand POCO, which is equipped with a Helio G96 gaming CPU, a Mali G57MC2 GPU configured with up to 8GB of RAM, and 256GB of expandable storage via the microSD slot. It sports a 6.43-inch AMOLED display with a 90Hz refresh rate, protected by Gorilla Glass 3 and IP53 certification for some splash proofing. The device boasts of a 64 megapixel main triple rear camera and a 16 megapixel selfie camera. The phone comes with a 5000 mAh battery and a 33-watt fast charging capability. The Xiaomi POCO M4 starts at 12,990 for the base model of 6GB 128GB and 13,990 for the 8GB and 256GB configuration. Now, for Xiaomi's most popular lineup, we have the Redmi Note 11S, which is kinda similar to the POCO M4 Pro. It is powered by a Helio G96 chipset, a Mali G57MC2 GPU with up to 8GB of RAM and 128GB of internal storage that supports a microSD expansion slot. Up front, we have a 6.43-inch AMOLED panel, 90Hz refresh rate, and it's also protected by Gorilla Glass 3 and IP53 splash proofing. Onto the camera department, we see a quad rear camera setup with a 108 megapixel main sensor and a 16 megapixel front camera. The device comes with a 5000 mAh battery and a 33-watt fast charging capability. The Xiaomi Redmi Note 11S starts at 10,499 for the base model and 12,999 for the 8GB plus 128GB configuration. The last but definitely not the least is the Pro variant of the Redmi Note 11 series, packing in a Snapdragon 695 chipset that is 5G capable, paired with an Adreno 619 GPU and up to 8GB of RAM and 128GB of internal storage expandable via the microSD card. This device sports a 6.67-inch AMOLED panel, up to 120Hz refresh rate, and 360 touch sampling rate under a Gorilla Glass 5 and IP53 splash proofing. It has a triple camera setup with a 108 megapixel main sensor and a 16 megapixel front camera. It's juiced up by a 5000 mAh battery and a 67-watt fast charging via USB-C, and it starts at 12,990 pesos for the 6GB 128 and 13,990 for the 8GB 256GB combo. All Xiaomi phones mentioned in this list runs on MIUI 11, which is based on Android 11. Anyway, that's it for now. We'll also be releasing recommendations for under 10,000, 20,000, and 30,000 pesos. And we will just put the link in the description section down below. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. Smack that like button and click on the notification bell to be updated of our future uploads. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, IG, and TikTok. Or visit yugatech.com for more tech news and reviews. Once again, this is Abe, and I will see you in our next video.